everybody, Dr. Giggles here from SFNEOnline and of course the host of The Grow Show. Today's video we're going to be talking about Rise of the Resistance, but what we're going to be doing is reviewing the ride. Give you my thoughts, show you a little bit of things, not to totally spoil if you're trying to wait and not go, but I'm also going to give you a little bit of tips too, as to make sure that you can get try your best to get a boarding pass as well, because I know that's been a problem for a lot of people. So let's get prepared, let's go over the ride, let's have some fun. And before we do that, make sure that if you're new here, you click that subscribe button. If you enjoyed it, give us a like and share it, and leave us a comment if you've ridden it, what you thought about it. Am I missing something? Do you agree, disagree, any and all that? Leave it down in the comment section down below. So let's just get into this. All right, so as you guys know by now, after seeing all the video and stuff, back in January, we went to California. We had to do some work. So while we were out there, we're like, hey, let's hit the parks, because I'd never done Disneyland before. And it just so happens we weren't paying attention, but the day that we booked for Disneyland was the day that Rise of the Resistance opened. So for those that don't know, it's the new Star Wars insane dark ride. So we'll start off with that. Now, first, as we get into that, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you, well, what I'm going to tell you is the process of you getting to the park, getting the boarding pass, and then we're going to talk about the queue line and all the different pre-shows, getting to the ride itself, and then my final thoughts. So, with that being said and out of the way, we got to the park, in the parking lot about 6:30. We got to the gate around 7, somewhere between 7 and 7:30 in the morning. The park didn't open till 8, and we were in the park before 8 o'clock. Now, a lot of people got there 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Nobody really knew what was going on and how it was going to work. And so basically what you want to do is keep refreshing and make sure that you're on the app right around 8 o'clock in the morning, and you'll see Join Boarding Group pop up. So what you want is click that ASAP, because it doesn't start until 8 a.m. So getting there at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning is going to do you nothing. A lot of people found out because some of those people didn't even get to ride that day that were there at 4, 5, 6, earlier than we were. And I got boarding group 48, something like that. I forgot which one I got, but I got it, and we got it. So that's one of the things you got to do. You got to make sure that it's refreshed, and when it's 8 o'clock, you can hit that join boarding group inside the app. Whether it's Disneyland or Walt Disney World, whatever the time was when the park opens, you want to be inside the park, anywhere in the park, and just hit the board. I know it sounds easier said than done. Some people did it and didn't, they got like a really high number and couldn't get in the ride and all that. So it was pretty much a crap fest for some people, and some people were pissed. And I get it. You got there early, you wanted to ride the ride, and you didn't get to. And then here comes my brother and I, and we're just like, bing! And they're like, when did you get here? I'm like, oh, around 7. Like, oh, you know. So, I mean, they weren't mad at us, it's the system. So anyway, I would say around 12:30 or so, somewhere around that vicinity, we got the push notification that we could go ride. So from 8, so it would have been the equivalent of waiting 4 hours in line, except you don't have to wait in line, which is great. So you can go ride other stuff. So, and I think once we got into the queue to the ride and off the ride was about somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, somewhere around there. Which I thought was great. I mean, I thought it was great because just the way the system was, I was able to ride it that day, and I thought it was great. Other people, not so much, but I get it. So once we got in, there's a queue line. It looks like it's one of those hidden underground resistance bases. They got some waterfalls. They got the cool thing in the queue line as you're getting in and in and in. There's like these walls, but they have seats embedded in the wall, so you can sit down inside the queue, which is great. Because when it does fully get operational, like when they're just going to flood the gates, you're going to want to sit. We all know that. It had some stuff. It had resistance, weapons. It had pilot outfits and stuff, like, in displays, like in these cage display things that you could look at while you're in the queue. And then you finally get to the first part of the ride, like one of the pre-shows, when you're getting on the ship and going in outer space before you get on your journey to the Star Destroyer. So, there's a whole thing going on. I don't want to spoil too much just in case you haven't watched any video or haven't gone and ridden it yet and you don't want it spoiled. Well, you probably should be watching this or anything, because it will be spoiled, and I'm just trying to do my due diligence anyway. But the ride itself was cool, just, to that point to get you to where you need to be. And it was awesome. After you do that, once you get through and all the stuff that happens, basically you get captured by the First Order, and then you open the door, and that's where you see all those stormtroopers, the animatronics, just moving their heads and whatever. It's a beautiful moment when them doors open and you see that. It is beautiful. It is amazing. So, nobody knew what that was. Was that part of the ride? It's more like, then you get in and there's more queue lines, so to speak. Because what happens is, they have, the employees, but they're in First Order attire. They're acting like it, so they're just bringing that much more immersiveness to this attraction. Because it's more than just getting in a car and going around and doing stuff. There's a lot to the ride. A lot. So after you do that and you go through, well, now you're locked in a holding cell, and stormtroopers and they're like, hey, there's a traitor, there's a spy, whatever. And then you move on, and, well, because the Resistance rescues you, and now you're in your vehicle, and you're going through trying to get away and get off the Star Destroyer and get back to your planet and do all that. So you're going through all the chaos. The technology in the ride is amazing, just because you see the laser blasts, and you see things, sparking on it and all that, and all the different stuff that's going on. Seeing the giant, the life-size AT-ATs and the battle going on outside in space, and even getting to the point where you got to get into an escape pod and doing all that. Like, it's a really, I felt I was immersive. Everybody knows, how the Disney rides used to be. They had your focal point on one area, not all around you, and everything going on. So being that in depth, it was Star Wars everywhere, and it was amazing. This is one of those technological breakthroughs of an attraction that hasn't been done yet, and that I know of anyway. And it really sets the bar to next level. It's leaps and bounds over even Avatar. And Avatar's a different ride system, but you get what I'm saying. It's just they just keep upping the bar, raising that bar every time some crazy new attraction comes out. And I applaud that, and plus I'm a Star Wars fan, so for me, that was great. I know a lot of people are like, it's not the original trilogy. I love the original trilogy as much as anybody else, but it felt like Star Wars. It was Star Wars, and I enjoyed it. If you go into it going, I'm a hater because it's not the original trilogy, you're a moron. Just go and enjoy it. Why are you gonna waste your life fighting it? It's a Star Wars attraction. It's got stormtroopers. It's got space battles. It's got a Star Destroyer. It's got droids. It's awesome. So if you're arguing about the fact that, but it's not the original trilogy, well, go original trilogy my ass. You know what I'm saying? It's a great ride. I don't care. You guys can suck it. Anyway, but beyond that, and then, you get on the escape pod, and then you go and you get back to your planet, and then the ride's over, and you pull in and you get out, and then the end of it, I was like, wow, it blew my mind. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It was an amazing attraction. So my thoughts are, it's amazing. It just ups the ante on an attraction. It's multiple attractions in one. There's, going from this ship, getting on the Star Destroyer. There's elevator lifts. There's all kinds of craziness going on. All kinds of craziness. It's that crazy and it's that cool. So again, my feeling is Disney hit the nail on the head. It's a perfect ride. It's not perfect in the sense that it's always working correctly. They're working out kinks and doing this, that, and the other, and I get that. New type of ride, and there's going to be problems. I expect that with any park, whether it's Universal, Six Flags, Cedar Fair, whoever. When you got some kind of new kind of ride system, there's going to be issues. And I get it. People want this thing working perfect out the box, and I get it. It's tough to try to get all the mechanics working and getting it going and flowing. Maybe should they have postponed it a little bit just to make sure the kinks were worked out? Of course. But that's not what happened. They opened it. And, I kind of see this right now as a soft opening of the ride. Because you need the boarding group. They're not just opening the gate for you to go into the ride. And I get it. So overall, I will give the ride a 9 out of 10. 10. I couldn't give it a 10 out of 10 just because some of the, like that Kylo Ren animatronic wasn't working, and I got the second version of it. I kind of wanted to see the animatronic work. Yes, there's some kinks in the system, but they're working them out. They're fleshing them out, and they keep putting more and more capacity to the ride, and they're doing more and more to it. It's fine. I'm sure when I go ride it again during my honeymoon that it will, down in September, should have all the kinks worked out hopefully by then. And it is what it is. But I love the attraction. I say go in with an open mind. Get that crap out of your head that Disney ruined Star Wars, because there's some people going, the ride sucks because it's not the original. Just go ride it. Enjoy life. Life's too short. Just enjoy it. You know, would I love to have a whole original trilogy part? Of course. Of course. I'm not an idiot. But what we have, I still love. I love all of Galaxy's Edge. Regardless if you like the Resistance and the First Order, or you like the Empire and the Rebels, whatever it is that you like. But let me tell you, this ride, it's a game changer. It's amazing. It truly is. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully that you enjoyed this video. And like I said earlier, if you did, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, and we'll talk to you soon. Till next time, everybody, keep on coasting, y'all. Peace.